So, Happy New Year, everyone. Good times here in Anacortes. I, as many of you know, did a 1031 tax-deferred exchange, exchanging some properties in Kansas for some properties here in Washington. And I said I was going to take you all on my journey of some of this fun stuff. The journey just had a diversion, which is very interesting. So you can see this is kind of it's a funky old, 1900s house, actually built 1900. And yeah, so we've had this like unseasonable, or not, well, the season is correct, but for the Washington area, at least Western Washington, much colder than we're used to. And yeah, so anyway, I did all the things that you're supposed to do for precautions. I actually, I came up for the holidays to check on the properties before we had the extreme cold. Came to this house in particular because, as you can see, it is not currently occupied because I was needing to get rid of these nasty carpets because the past owners had animals and they totally stunk. The whole place smells like wet dog. Hey Dwayne, how you doing? I know you're having fun at your house too, but I'm also having some good times. And so anyway, because these things are super stained and gross, I have been trying to source carpet and contractors, which of course in today's marketplace is hard to do because everyone's really busy. And it's the construction industry, one, we're the most expensive part of the country, and two, it's also the biggest churn in terms of staffing. So it's been a real challenge for a lot of contractors and also supply chain and all that. Hey there. Happy New Year, Dwayne. So anyway, I've been trying to get this done. As you can see, it's also kind of all kinds of funky colors. This room is pink. Yay. Exciting. Past owners had some very interesting tastes. They just lived in this place pretty hard for 13 years. So anyway, the fun part for me was that 2 days ago, my neighbors gave me a call to tell me that they heard water running. Now, nobody's here. I had actually shown up, turned the furnace on like nonstop just because it was going to be so cold and because this is vacant and you need to keep the space warm so that the plumbing doesn't go out. So my challenge was that when I bought this place, the furnace and the water heater I did know were from 1994. So that makes it a challenge to begin with. So I'm already dealing with old services, which I had planned over time to update and upgrade, but wasn't there yet. So here we are. I end up, hey Denise, hi Ian. So I come here, I cover the hose bibs, I come in the house, I turn on the furnace to run full time. Just, because there's no need, and this one is not a programmable, so I can't even have it go up and down, but for, like if you go onto any heating website, they'll tell you best practices are turn the heat on, leave the heat on, so you're not stressing the environment, and because all the ambient temperature of all the things inside of a property will do that. I also, as you see, I had like curtains closed because I'm trying to thwart cold coming in because that's another place of massive passive loss of heat and, cooling when it's the summer, and in the wintertime a lot of your heat will just go straight out the windows, plus you're getting the cold coming in from them. So I covered as many of the windows as possibly had covers on them. And anyway, so my neighbor called me 2 days ago and said, we hear water running. I said, oh no. Thankfully I had a contractor box I'd already put on the house when I got done closing on it. And apparently in here, you can probably see, although the wallpaper's terrible, if you can see the staining right here, so water was spraying all over in here. There's actually ice crystals on this doormat down here because water that went down in here. The furnace has apparently, as they say, shit the bed. So it is just now blowing cold air. What we're trying to figure out, oh gosh, with these lights on, I can see this even better. There's ice crystals all over underneath the sink here. You can see. And, oh, look at that in the sink. Yay. Good times. Good times. So, I also had a toilet upstairs that had a little ice crystal that came off of the hose from that. So it is now unknown the extent to the pipe damage. So we will find out. I have, because I have some really great friends and contacts, I had been reaching out to lots and lots of companies. So a couple of tips. One, yay, I had a good insurance broker in place. So thank you, Gail Welfringer from First Market Insurance. You've been amazing. Also, Stephanie Quam, who's my sales rep for Old Republic Home Protection. I'm also calling in on my home warranty that I purchased because I bought one for myself, just like I do every one of my clients. So hopefully a good chunk of this is going to get covered. So I've got from contacts here locally in Anacortes that I already knew before I bought up here. I have connections now. A mitigation group is coming today, plumber tomorrow, and talking to the heating guys on Monday, most likely having to replace that system over there. So fun journey. Some of the other stuff that was hilarious after I closed on this place, this was an interesting thing. It's hard to tell, but you see that thing right there? That's a toilet drain. And the owners who were here, and there's a sink. When I was buying this, we didn't know those existed because they had so much crap in here. No pun intended about it being a half bath, but they had so much crap in here. We had no idea that there had been a half bath installed at some point in the past. Same thing in an upstairs room. Hi, Susie. Yeah, I bought two places, one in Anacortes and one in Oak Harbor. So anyhow, hey, John, how's it going? So, yeah, then upstairs there is well, we'll just go there. Why not? We'll just go ahead and go on up there because the thing is, I just the other day was talking with Wendy Fischer from Wendy Fischer Interiors, and she's going to help me with this renovation project because this place, I mean, you can tell it's funky. Like, look at these, I'm going up the stairwell. It's ancient. It's torn up. It's gross. But anyhow, they had so much stuff. Just unbelievable. Americans, we got to really get our shopping habits under control because it's bad. But anyhow, one of the other things that was really funny was this room was so full, so full of stuff that the inspector and I, Lisa Lotus over at Taurus Home Inspections, I'm also doing name dropping for you too, we literally had to make a path across it just to get to that door that goes out to the exterior. Like, we were like shoving things because it was so full. They're like pulling things out of the way just so we could get here. And after the sellers moved out, I find this, which is once again another toilet connection. So I'm just like, oh my God, what did I get? It's so weird. And I know houses really well. Like, I knew this was an addition. I could see venting and stuff. So we were just trying to figure out what this house actually is. Oh yeah, Susie, obviously I have Rusty with me. This actually goes outside, but because Rusty's standing so close to it, I'm not going to open it up because he'll probably jump out on the flat roof section over there. But no, Russ, we're not going that way. I'm sorry, buddy. We're going to go this way. But anyway, so I've been talking to Wendy. She and I have an appointment here on the 15th of January that was already scheduled before we had the water break. And sounds like my house is pregnant. The water broke. So anyway, we're going to be coming up with plans and going to be walking everyone through kind of the big journey of redoing this sucker. It may take a long time, but so what? That's the way these projects work. So anyway, hey Brian, how are you? I hope you and Lucky and the family are doing great and enjoying your house. Hopefully your place is nice and safe and warm. And what's that? Susie, so here's what I think. This house was built in 1900, and there's another bathroom on the main floor. I am guessing because of the location of this, I'm in Old Town Anacortes. I believe that at one point, not only was this place built, but I think it was then used as a rooming house. And since indoor plumbing didn't really happen until the 1950s, this house definitely looks like it's had additions done in the 50s, 70s, and the 90s. And that's like the last time someone really did anything decent to it. And I can't even say that that was good because this place is quite a junker. Yes, Deborah, exactly. Adding extra bathrooms is, well, the fact that there's already some plumbing in some of these places is a good thing. And that half bath that I was saying earlier, it's directly below this bathroom, which somebody added on. This place actually originally, you can see we also had, there's a chunk of ice down underneath here. That had an icicle hanging from it. There's ice crystals down there. So we've got obviously more water breaks or some line breaks. But this house was noted originally as a 4-bedroom. So what I think happened is this funky lavender room or whatever color this is. I think somebody at one point took out a section of wall. So you had a pass through, and then they took this bedroom and added in the 3/4 bath, and then just had this as extra space. So it was like their version of trying to add in like a primary suite, but with a continental bath because it serves the hallway. But you know, obviously the people who lived here before, I mean, look at this floor. Ugh. My dog's rolling around on it. It's really disgusting. But it's so stained, and it so smells like wet dog. Even in this absolute cold, it still stinks to high heaven. My sinuses are going crazy. But anyway, it's going to be interesting. It's got vinyl siding. That's going to eventually go. I mean, this sucker's going to have a whole new lease on life. But anyway, that's kind of, hey, Todd, how you doing, man? Hi, George. Yeah, so this is going to be a really interesting, fun real estate journey. And unlike HGTV, it's probably not going to be real pretty a lot of the times, but it could get very interesting. We're going to try and make it informative as well as entertaining. Hopefully I won't swear too much while I do some of this. I've already told David Summers, who's on my team, who's going to be helping do some video work later. He may have to learn how to do bleeping tools really well when he does stuff for me, but we'll see. We'll see. Rusty, go around. I can't even shut the door on you. It's over here. Go over here. Yay! See, that's what happens when you have a circular floor plan. So anyway, it's going to get fun, but can't wait to have all the, yes, it's going to get very interesting, Deb. I can't wait to do it. So anyway, hope y'all are having a great first day of your new year. This is what I'm dealing with, and I'm just really, really thankful. Thank you, Baron Heating, for being responsive. And Chris Collins, thank you for the shout out to them because that's who I contacted. I had no idea. I thought they were just a heating company, and I found out they have a ton of resources. They do HVAC, plumbing, solar, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I am excited because they're going to be helping me out quite a bit. They helped get Restoration 1 that's scheduled for later today. They're going to come in and try and assess the damage and be doing moisture readings because that's what's important. So this is like when I say it's going to be informative, these are the things you have to do when this is going on. I can't just be like, oh my God, there's crap. And you know, you have to suddenly, you know, just things magically happen. They don't. When you have water damage, one of the very first things they got to do is come and mitigate, meaning stop whatever's happening. And what we did, you know, when my neighbors came over, what was really awesome about it is that I had the key available for them. They came in, they saw where the water break was. It's a copper pipe behind my washer. I thankfully had my inspection report available to me because I had my laptop up and running. Looked immediately to see where the water shutoff was. Unfortunately, it's under the house in the crawl space, which is a crappy place to have one. But when you have a house this old and there's not a garage, that's probably what's going to happen. So these kinds of things are going to be getting changed as part of the long-term plan on this house. So he and his wife went out to the street. Deb, you're going to love this. I'm going to give you their names. Seth and Becky Short. And they're from Burton, Kansas. Practically neighbors to Newton, where I grew up with you. So I'm very curious to see if we have people in common. But anyway, awesome neighbors went and turned off the water at the street for me. So that's the first point of mitigation. They were checking, I mean, obviously with all that ice that you saw in the sink and everything. I know, right, Deb? Like, I leave Kansas in 1989 and my next door neighbors are from Kansas. Cracking me up. So same thing in Renton. My friend Lisa, she's also from Kansas. So we all go everywhere else. But anyhow, so that was first step of mitigation. They checked the heat, obviously with the ice crystals here. There's no heat, even though it's on. And so then second step, I call my insurance, call the home warranty, got authorization numbers, that kind of stuff for the home warranty, look to see what kind of things they cover. And so I'm doing a dual approach on the stuff there. There's a term called subrogation that if you're not familiar with it in the world of insurance is that when there's like overlying or overlapping kinds of insurance, they do a thing called subrogation, which says, hey, one of them may do certain kinds of work and then they have to go and get money from the other insurance company to cover some of those costs. So we're in the process of figuring out, so mitigation, which is the guys coming out to do the moisture readings and to try and figure out what needs to get torn out. Because that's the thing, you can't just always dry it out. There's always the potential of, moisture damage going into mold, turning into, other kinds of things that become problematic on a house. So these guys are going to come out tonight, try and assess what that looks like, figure out whether or not it's something that can just be dried or if it's going to require tear out. And they don't typically put it back together. So that's going to be the other challenging part, is then finding the people who can put it back together. But the plumbing guy coming tomorrow, once they have at least some kind of an assessment of what's going on, it's supposed to warm up tomorrow also. And, crossing fingers, that it doesn't then find out that there's a bunch of other leaks in the walls and stuff, because that's the biggest problem about plumbing, is that it's in your walls, and so you don't always know, or it's underneath the house, right? Thankfully, this is not set in concrete, so they're not going to have to tear out concrete either, because if you have a slab basement or something like that that has stuff poured in, then that can be a big problem too. So anyway, these are the fun things that I'm dealing with right now. And the heating guys, because everyone, like absolutely everyone, is slammed right now between all the flooding, the snow and ice, outages, everything else that's happening right now. It is, it's really hard to get people. And so I've just been making sure also to show my appreciation for those workers. They're working their fannies off. They're spending their time not with their families during the holidays. So it's really important to make sure that they know they're appreciated and that what they're doing is important. And so they keep doing it, right? I mean, you certainly wouldn't want to do your job if you didn't feel like you were being appreciated. So these guys do some pretty tough, hard, uncomfortable jobs. So I'm going to highlight some of them along the way as well. So with that, definitely am thankful. James from Restoration One is who called me on my way here. I gave him kind of the lay of the land of access, as well as then Damien from Barron Heating was the person I spoke to earlier who kind of helped get things off and running for me on getting the help. So thank you to all of those vendors. I'm looking forward to working with you and getting things handled here. And anyway, Happy New Year. Talk to you guys soon.